Many unbearable hours later.
Hi guys, my name is Kerri and I'm here to teach you how to become a better artist. So, a little bit about me. I studied fine art at the top university in Ireland for 3 years, and I felt like at the end of my 3 years with my degree in my hand that I didn't actually learn anything that helped me improve my art that much. Not saying all universities are bad or that I don't know, my university was real bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for me personally, I felt like I learned more outside of university than I did in university. And I'd just like to share the tips that I've learned since then with you. So, the first step in becoming a better artist is definitely research. Researching art and knowing how to research is the number one way to improve your art. How can you improve anything if you don't study the thing you're trying to learn and trying to, grow? So, I want to make this video to first kind of teach you how to become a better artist and how to look at art properly when you're researching art. And I hope by the end of this video, I'll be able to help you learn skills that will help you to be able to read better visually and be able to break down images, see the components that make up images, and be able to research artists properly for yourself so that you can actively observe art and develop your visual reading skills. One of the artists I want to look at today is called Asur Misoa, and she's a concept illustrator from France who focuses on semi-realism. One of the first things that I loved about her work was the realism to her work. I thought the way she captured it was amazing, and honestly, like her studies really grabbed me when I first seen them. I'm gonna put a link to her Instagram down below, so definitely go follow her. She is amazing. So one of the first images I want to look at her today is this study of feet and legs and the bum. I honestly don't know if actually this will be allowed on YouTube, but it's only just it's art. It's art, guys. It's art. I wasn't doing it to be lewd. I was just doing it to because I really liked this study. I thought it was a really good way that it was a really good thing to show you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cool color here and I'm going to show you how she has used. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break down this image for you so you can see the things that make it up, and then you can incorporate those things into your own work to see if it helps you improve, basically. Or you'll be able to look at other artists and be able to spot those features and be like, oh, I see what they've done there. I know what that is. And then that way you'll be able to read visually and be able to see what makes up these images. So I'm going to take this blue color and I'm going to use it to show you where she has used a cool color to highlight certain parts of the figure, and also how these highlights actually create the sharp edges of the figure. So if you look here, you can see that Azur has used this cool light to actually create the edges of the form, but she's also used it over here to create to spot out the details. So you can see like here and here she's got the tendons of the foot are all highlighted with this fine line just to stand out. This is such a simple thing to do, but it's so powerful if you can do it well. And honestly, like, look how simple her image is. It's literally just a picture of a foot, but it stands out so much because of these little details. It looks so realistic. One of the other things, but I'll show you actually where she's done this on this figure as well. I'm just going to highlight everywhere she's done it so you'll be able to pinpoint it yourself. So this cool light that we're highlighting is obviously coming from a source that's either coming from this way and coming from this way. So this figure, we can tell, is standing in front of a different light source. So maybe they're like a dancer, or maybe they're like, no, dancing in front of the moon or something. But she's used that highlight again there to highlight the muscle tone, like just the edge of the muscle there, and also for the leg there as well. She's used a very subtle palette because obviously she's painting skin, but even within that palette there's some saturated colors, and we're going to look at those. So we've got, what have we got here, guys? We've got some saturated reds here, here, here as well, here, here. That's one thing I used to never do when I was younger painting skin. I used to never actually look at what made up skin. I used to just think that if you painted a skin color and did some basic light and shade, you were good. But all of my skin paintings back then used to look so muddy because I only ever did light and shade with a darker version of skin color, or the skin color that I was using. And it's a big way to make your skin look really gross and muddy. Whereas if you notice, she's actually used these tones of red, and they bring so much life into the skin. And if you were to look at your own body, everybody's body is just a whole bunch of different colors. We've got dark spots, we've got lighter spots, we've got spotty spots. We're all made up of different colors all over our body, and it's really important to remember that and to bring it into your art when you're painting a figure. Just to remember to use other colors than the color you've chosen as your base skin color, just to make it seem more alive. So if, say for example, you're painting some sort of alien and they have like green blood, like the Vulcans, would have a slightly more green tinge to their skin because they've got green blood. So where you would put these reds, you would make it more green because of the color of the blood, like Vulcans. Right. So that is where she's used all these red tones. You can see it's kind of like a reflection-y thing going on here as well from the other leg. That's why it's so saturated. Same here with that leg there. Because skin's translucent, so if you ever shine a light behind your ear, you'll see how red your skin really is. If you put stuff together, you do get darker reds when you put like your arms together and stuff. Okay, so she's all, as well as the reds that are here in this image, I think I've done enough images, she's also got these cooler colors as well, which are also red, but they're more like red blue or purpley tones. Again, it feels like a very, she's used cool shadows, and she's also used a bit of warmthness in the skin, but the cool also is coming, I guess, from the light as well, but it also affects the shadows too. It's important, generally when people are painting, you use cool shadows and then warm highlights. Obviously we've got a cool light source here and here, so the light source from that side is going to be cooler, and same on this side, but the light source from this side is warmer, and that light source as well is warmer, and this whole light source is warmer. And this one feels very much like this person's legs are just in warm light, whereas these ones are very much in a spotlight of some sort. To go back to the cool shadows though, we've got cool highlight and cool shadows. So you can see here she's put all the shadows and areas aren't completely black. There's actually no black in this at all. The darkest color, if we were to get that, we'll go to the foot. See, it's not even, it's a very, very, very dark burgundy, maroony color. And that's another thing I would recommend if you're painting skin and trying to be semi-realistic. Nothing in nature is properly black. You can get very, very close, but it's never black. Like it's never let me just get the color picker. You'll never see anything that dark in nature. It's just not, we can't make it that dark unless it's maybe a black hole. That's different. Black is really, that kind of black is really just the absence of light though. And when you're making art, you're really just trying to manipulate light and shadow on your painting to make it seem more realistic. Bluish tones and those reddish tones are the largest talkers in this color conversation, and they play off a nice harmony from each other, where there's like a nice contrast between those two colors, and it really makes the form seem whole as well. When we look at the highlights, I'm going to make the highlights, I'll just make them white. She's used the highlights very selectively and with a soft brush. She's used them here and here as well, and that gives like a weightedness to the form. And she's used them with a very, very soft brush, and she's softened it in the shape of the form. Same here, you can see that's a lot more straight line-ish because it's taken the form of the shin bone, and it's getting softer as she goes down here and sharper at the knuckles where she needs the details and the sharpness to define the form. And even here, it's not much of a highlight so much as of a medium tone, but I suppose it could be a highlight depending on the setting that this is in. But she's just used it here on the edge again, and it's very soft and it kind of bleeds into the rest of the leg and curves around. She really understands how skin works, and she really knows how to make light and shadow play when she's in her paintings. Like, she also really understands anatomy. Like, look at all these ligaments here and the way those muscles connect like that. Honestly, next level stuff. And if you want your art to improve, do studies like this where you break down the images, but also don't forget to do actual anatomy studies where you're looking at things like feet and arms and legs and anything that you find difficult to draw, and you just draw them until you can't draw them anymore, and until you don't hate them or don't hate to draw them anymore. But yeah, I wanted to show you this, so maybe if you look at this, you'll be able to see it when I take the filter off. So that's the layer with all the different components that we've just gone over. If we take it off, see if you can see those things in the image yourself, and see if you can spot different things that I didn't notice. Maybe if I forgot to mention something, you can just put it down in the comments and let me know. I'll look at the next image that I wanted to talk about today. So that is the first one of her studies. This is the second one that I wanted to talk about. So this is a fantasy image that Asur has done for a character concept. I have got these images off her Instagram. I don't own these images, by the way. But I'm linking her Instagram down below. So for this image, I'm gonna again. This is a really beautiful image. There's a lot going on in it, and honestly, I could have talked about this forever when I was doing this image, doing the research for it. One of the first things that is very subtle that you won't really notice until it's pointed out to you, I guess, if you're a really beginner, like you can look at that and be like, oh my god, how the hell am I ever going to be ever that good? How did somebody do that? That's amazing. If you look at it, it's I suppose for a beginner it might be tricky to break down, but we're gonna do it anyway. So first things first, I'm going to take this black and I'm going to mask out the dark areas of the picture. So this is something that you'll see a lot in concept art, especially if any sort of storytelling art, you'll see it, I suppose. So that's the darkest image, or darkest part of the image. Then we'll go here. And we'll fill that as well. Here we have the star of the show. This is the highlight of the picture, and the way she's structured the whole picture is leading our eye towards this spot. We've started off with the foreground here that is black, and that's to show us where the character has come from. This middle bit is to show us the present, where they are. And this section here is to show where they're going. And she's actually, if I take away that filter, I take away the other one as well, you'll be able to see here, it's a lot darker here at the edge of the picture. In the middle of the picture, there's a lot more medium tones. And then towards the center of, or the background, I mean, it's just all highlights here. So if I go back in here, and I'm going to choose this color now. She's also doubled that leading on with our eyes by doing this swirly thing here. And this is like this magic-y thing that's bringing our eye to the center of the picture. And it's also coming from the foreground to the center, leading our eye as we look at the image to the fire. Another thing she's done, which I think is really cute, is that here is the star of the show. She's also mirrored this here in the character, and that's showing us that these two things are connected. We know they must be because they're going that way, and they're the only two things in the picture, but there is definitely a connection between those two characters there. Well, obviously the firelight's just firelight, it's not character, but there's a connection between the character and the fire. Another thing that this artist Asur has done amazingly is the color palette. So we have these greens here in the shadow, but we also have these reds here as well, and they're contrasting off each other, and that plays throughout the whole image. So I'll just quickly show you. So it's here as well, and it's here. We've got the reds again, and the reds again get more orange the closer we get to the center. So we'll start, we have orange here and orange here, and obviously this is all orange as well, and orange here. And to play off that, she's got this blue color coming out here, and this green slightly loses its greenness and kind of disappears and becomes almost blue there. She's also got this blueness up here, and that's playing off the orange. So there's this nice color contrast going off between these elements here. It's just such an unreal image, and I'm just going to take that filter off to see if, like, can you see those images yourself? Can you make out that that's darker than this bit here? And you can you tell like how that is connected to that? I just want you to be able to, like, when I take off these filters, you can be like, oh wow, I do see that that's actually blue up there, or that's green down there, and that's red there, you know? That's basically the goal of this video today, is just a brief intro into researching art properly. I'm going to go more into how to build a reference image and how to use a reference image in my next video, but I just wanted to show you how to break down an image so you can see the parts that make it, and how to identify those things so you can use those in your practice. And so you can look at other artists and break down their images and see what make those images up as well. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something today about how to research art properly and how to become a better artist. I've written a blog, and on my blog I've discussed a couple of ways that you can become a better artist, and I've also looked at a couple more paintings by Asur Misoa in that blog and discussed them as well. If you'd like to check that out, the link is in the description. I'd also like you to share your favorite artists with me in the comments, and you let me know what your favorite works are. They can be huge artists, they can be super famous, or they can be yourselves, or they can be small artists. Honestly, just share with me your favorite artists in the comments, and I'll have a look at their work and discuss them on my next video. I'm also going to be looking at how to make a reference image and how to use a reference image in my next video as well. So if you'd like to learn more about how to become a better artist now, please subscribe, and thank you for watching!